Welcome back to the ScreenCrush Break Room. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things that you might have missed in What If, Episode 6. Boy, Tony Stark is not doing well in What If, is he? He's either killed, or turned into a zombie, or played like a violin and then killed. This episode is an alternative take on the events of Iron Man, asking what if Killmonger made his move earlier and taken advantage of Stark's ego and misguided loyalty. Basically, it's what if Tony Stark faced Killmonger instead of Ironmonger. Doesn't go well for him. What you say? The opening shot is lifted directly from the opening shot of the MCU, Tony's motorcade in Afghanistan, and events play out just how they did in the movie. But Yuri Telfer on Twitter pointed out that he is using a different model of cell phone, so we are starting to see variations. It could even be that Killmonger was able to hack this phone because it's not as advanced as the one we see in Iron Man. Once again, Robert Downey Jr. does not return to voice Tony Stark.
You can't afford me.
Instead, he's voiced by Mick Wingert, who's voiced the character in video games and animation for years. And then Killmonger shows up, apparently strong enough to throw a frickin' shell like it's some kid's ball.
It's your ball, you want it back? Go get it!
And when he appears, his theme from Black Panther plays.
Killmonger? What is that, German?
A nickname.
He even hints in his first scene that he had insider knowledge of the attack.
The 10 rings have reinforcements en route. We need to move now.
Now, I'm still not sure if the 10 rings that we saw in Iron Man are actually part of Wenwu's 10 rings, or if they were a group that splintered off while he was playing Dance Dance Revolution with his kids. But I digress. Tony gives his post-attack press conference with a very different takeaway.
I saw young Americans killed by the very weapons I created to defend them and protect them.
I realized we have to do better. Build bigger and fight badder for them.
And the woman asking Killmonger questions is Christine Everhart, the reporter from Iron Man 1 and 2 who keeps popping up on WHIH News throughout the MCU.
I'm Christine Everhart on behalf of Will Adams. Thank you for watching.
And then Killmonger exposes that Obadiah Stane was the one who commissioned Tony Stark's kidnapping, which, you know what? Good. I hate that twist. I always have. Stane should have just been a greedy guy who was jealous of Tony and made his own suit to sell, and then fought him because he couldn't take it anymore. Making him some mastermind behind everything was dumb and just a way to eliminate the 10 rings from the movie and focus on Stane. Do you agree? Tell me in the comments. Then Tony and Killmonger get drinks at the same club that appeared in Iron Man. Again, we're basically seeing an alternative plot of the movie Iron Man first, before it pivots to an alternate Black Panther story. They say,
They came for the king, and they missed.
in what feels like a tribute to the immortal Omar.
Hey, yo, lesson here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
They went ahead and put Don Cheadle in the episode, in keeping with the recon recasting of Bruce Banner that we saw in episode 3. Pepper is suspicious and Tony dismisses her.
I'm sorry, are you allowed to say that to people in my tax bracket?
Because remember, in Iron Man, she's still his assistant / unrequited love interest. She didn't get handed the keys to the company until Iron Man 2.
It's you. It's always been you.
Killmonger says,
What did your old man used to say? That's right. Peace means having a bigger stick than the other guy.
which, yes, is a quote from Iron Man.
My old man had a philosophy. Peace means having a bigger stick than the other guy.
But it also shows that Killmonger has been studying Tony and his family history. And then the two of them retire to Tony's lab, and Killmonger becomes Tony's new science bro. Since he studied Tony so well, he knows his weakness. He can't resist a tinker. In the Iron Man 3 flashback, he solved Extremis for fun, and he created Ultron and Vision basically to see if he could.
I don't want to hear the man was not meant to meddle medley.
And did you forget that Killmonger is also a genius who went to MIT?
Graduated Annapolis age 19, MIT for grad school.
Apparently, he's also smart enough to design super drones. And this line,
Worst case scenario, we'll end up with the world's most expensive Gundam model.
is referencing the anime Gundam Wing, specifically the mobile doll system. Thanks to Hurricane Barca for that observation. Also, all these drones had heads and designs very similar to the ones that Ivan Vanko put together in Iron Man 2. The Soto on Twitter pointed out that Killmonger's outfit is also inspired by anime, and that he wears a costume similar to Vegeta's in Dragon Ball. And I want to say, for a poor kid from the Oakland projects, Erik did really well. Grad school at MIT. I mean, if it weren't for his dad's murder, who knows what he could have accomplished. You know, the Disney Plus shows have been great during the pandemic because they've allowed the MCU to keep going. But I still want to give these shows a big screen experience. And now I can with my brand new Cosmos Max 4K projector from Nebula, the sponsor of this video. This projector is stunning. The 4K Ultra HD image is better than my TV, and it projects at 1500 lumens. So what's that mean? This sucker even works in the daylight. So the way this works is, it's an all-in-one projector with Android TV 9.0, so you can download more than 5,000 apps, including YouTube, so you can watch ScreenCrush videos at the highest possible resolution. So you don't even need HDMI inputs, even though it still has them. It works as a smart TV all by itself. Plus, the immersive audio is incredible. It broadcasts Dolby Digital Plus in 360 degrees. You can see it's got speakers all around it. So no matter where you're sitting, you can hear everything perfectly. They also have a terrific 1080p version that includes the same surround sound feature. But mostly, I like that the Cosmos Max Projector makes every movie night a special experience. It's a chance to put away our phones and just disappear into a world of magic and fantasy. So, if you are interested in getting your own Cosmos or Cosmos Max projector, we have a special deal for you. Just click the link in the description, enter the discount code, and get a big deal on this amazing all-in-one home theater. So then we get a mirror of the montage where Tony built the Iron Man suit, hitting a wall when he can't think of a power source.
If we could miniaturize an arc reactor, oh, that's a dumb idea.
Remember, the arc reactor that Tony made in a cave with a box of scraps was a miniaturized version of his dad's arc reactor, symbolizing that he's carrying on his dad's work and keeping him close to his heart. But Erik makes a similar symbolic gesture. He offers his father's royal Vibranium Wakandan ring, showing that he's also keeping his father close to his heart, but to seek revenge. Tony assumes that his dad used all the Vibranium on Cap's shield, like we first heard in Age of Ultron.
This guy got out of Wakanda with some of their trade goods.
I thought your father said he got the last of it.
That's the rarest metal on Earth. What you're holding there, that's all we've got.
And when Tony analyzes the ring, notice how the structure of the element forms around him, just like when he discovered the element that saved his life in Iron Man 2. But here's the thing, in that movie, he was originally going to discover Vibranium. It's even in the novelization. And novelizations are typically written off earlier drafts of the screenplays, but then they never said the name of the element in the movie.
You have created a new element.
This mystery element stabilized the arc reactor so Tony wouldn't need palladium anymore, just like the Vibranium does here. So I'm actually thinking that Tony might have synthesized Vibranium in Iron Man 2. It would also explain why his nanotech works so well with Wakandan technology. See, the book The Wakanda Files revealed that Shuri shared her nanotech designs with Stark, but his tech incorporates so closely it makes me think that they both had a Vibranium base they were working from. So to acquire more Vibranium, they seek the help of Ulysses Claw, who, remember, had already met Tony Stark.
Back in the day, he operates off the African coast, black market arms. There are conventions, all right? Meet people, I didn't sell them anything.
And they send Rhodey to meet with them in the same shipyard off the African coast that we saw in Age of Ultron. Andy Serkis returns as Claw, who's once again collaborating with Killmonger. To kill T'Challa, Erik uses a sonic taser like Stain used against Tony and Iron Man.
You remember this one, right?
And then he also kills Rhodey, sparking a war.
They want a war, so that's what we'll give them.
Alright. It's unlikely that killing one Air Force colonel would make the US military send troops into battle, but Thunderbolt Ross is in charge. He's very much a shoot first and ask questions later kind of guy. He spent the whole of the Incredible Hulk trying to control Banner's power and create a super soldier.
As far as I'm concerned, that man's whole body is property of the US Army.
The rest of his time in the MCU is spent trying to control all the superhumans.
Congratulations, Lieutenant. You just invented 21st century warfare.
So it makes sense that he would jump at the chance to control super battle droids and field test them against what he thinks is a poor country halfway around the world. I also thought that it was interesting that Killmonger's goal is to liberate all Africans around the world, but he has to kill 2 black men to achieve this. It's showing that he doesn't really care about the spirit of his cause, only gaining revenge and power. Also, notice how the Dora Milaje pallbearers aren't actually carrying T'Challa's coffin. It's hovering above the ground, a subtle show of Wakandan technology. The Wakandan text on T'Challa's coffin reads Wakanda Forever, and this adds a lot of unintentional emotion to the episode. After Chadwick Boseman passed away, the title of Black Panther 2 was revealed to be Wakanda Forever, and I'm wondering if we might see this same text on his coffin in the film. But Tony, of course, figured out Killmonger's scheme, but his ego is so big that he thinks he can handle it himself, and he's tragically killed by being stabbed in the shoulder? Maybe the lung? I don't know, it's still weird. He's controlling the drone with this wristband, which actually didn't appear in the MCU until the Avengers, when he used it to summon his armor. Killmonger drops the drone by cutting out its legs, similar to how he cut down T'Challa in his waterfall duel. Also, when he takes off his shirt, we see that he has fewer scars than we saw in Black Panther, a nice touch to show that this takes place several years earlier. Have you noticed that every episode the Watcher looks more and more corporal, like less like a cosmic being? I think that's building up to him interfering in the show somehow, recruiting everyone into a new team like we saw in the trailers. So the government nationalizes Stark Industries, which they could actually do as part of the Defense Production Act. Much like the Iron Man films, the episode does a good job criticizing the military-industrial complex, showing the marriage between defense and corporate interests, and using this to flex political strength around the world. In many ways, the US government operates just like Erik Killmonger, the man they train. When one of their own is killed, they leap at the chance for revenge and attempt to take over Wakanda, just like Erik. When Claw takes Erik to Wakanda's borders, he calls Killmonger boy, a racist term in the South used to describe any black man. Erik was already going to kill Claw, but this was the moment he decided that he was going to enjoy it. Killmonger gets in good with his Wakandan family by delivering Claw, just like in the movie, except now it's not a coup or a takeover, he's earning his uncle's trust. And he watches the sunset from the same mountain where he died in Black Panther.
It's beautiful.
So now, with T'Challa dead, Erik becomes a surrogate son for T'Chaka. I like the detail that Shuri was much younger, because Iron Man takes place several years before she was a teenager in Black Panther. And by the way, all of the Wakandans are back to voice their roles, including Chadwick Boseman, Danny Guerrera, John Caney, and Angela Bassett.
What say you, General?
And okay, wait, Ramona is a general? I mean, that's cool, but where was she during Thanos' attack on Wakanda? It's implied here that she's a former member of the Dora Milaje, which is actually a better reflection from the comics, where the Dora were originally conceived as bodyguards / potential brides for the king. This Dora Milaje was actually part of an abandoned plot point in Black Panther, She's Your Mom, the Wakandan war chant. So cool. Hey, you know this line?
Are you certain about this, Baba? Entrusting our fate to this outsider.
Sure reminded me of this one.
Sure about this? Trusting our fate to a boy we hardly know?
Killmonger pulls a double cross, sending the drones into battle so he can be seen fighting with his people. And the Wakandan forces are using most of the same weapons that we saw in Black Panther. And of course, their war cry from the movies is repeated here.
Wakanda forever!
Wakanda forever! Wakanda forever!
Wakanda forever!
And I mean, look, this show's amazing. Erik Killmonger riding a rhinoceros into a battle with Stark drones. When are you ever going to see that again? And then this. Really got to me, man. So then Killmonger becomes Black Panther and wears the leopard armor, just like in the movie, which was also a tribute to his leopard from the comics, Prey with 2 Ys. Then he meets T'Challa in the afterlife place of past kings, which is interesting. In the movie, when he drank the heart-shaped herb, he went to his apartment in Oakland, where his father, N'Jobu, was apparently trapped in a kind of purgatory, symbolizing that Erik is also trapped in a kind of purgatory by his own childhood trauma. But here, maybe because he's been anointed by T'Chaka, he comes to the place of kings and he meets his cousin. Back at Stark Industries, Ross says,
Destroyers are circling the African coast. I want all Jericho missiles locked and loaded by 0600.
Yes, sir.
Remember that these were the missiles that Tony was showing off at the start of Iron Man that the Ten Rings wanted him to build. And, you know, it just occurred to me that the military probably always wanted to take over Stark Industries, but didn't because they needed to give Tony room to invent new stuff. Once he was dead, they moved in. And then Shuri meets up with Pepper with proof of Killmonger's misdeeds, for once ending this show on a somewhat upbeat note. Well, that's all the Easter eggs that I found, but if you found any, let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.